Welcome back to the channel. Today's video was filmed over a few months and shows the changes I've made to my pond between the end of winter and summer. The filter was left off and I didn't clean the pond over winter, so it's turned dirty as a result of things like leaves falling in and decomposing. But now spring is starting and it's getting sunnier, so I can fire up the solar powered filter again. But first I need to do a deep clean and a full water change. The next day it's completely clean but still quite bare, so now I have a blank canvas to work on over the next few months. The first thing I do is add some frog spawn to bring life to the pond once they hatch. They'll also be really good for keeping any aquatic plants I add healthy by fertilizing them with their poop and also eating any algae off them. I'm going to be making a full video just on these tadpoles and their journey from frog spawn to frogs this year, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. This is still just the very start of spring, but I thought it would be a good time to get started on the flower bed around the pond since it's still very bare. I have two different types of Gladioli bulbs which I'm going to plant around the back of the pond since they get pretty tall. Now that I can see fresh growth in the ferns, I know it's time to get planting. These are some semi-aquatic plants I found at a local pond, but I'm not actually sure what species they are. If you have any idea, let me know in the comments. I saw them growing in the shallows of the pond with the leaves coming out the top, so I thought they'd be a good plant to put in the shallow ledge around the edge of the pond. A few weeks later and I'm adding more aquatic plants, this time a big water lily which should be really good for providing cover. Caltha palustris which grows out of the top of the water. And a bunch of Alodia. The water lily leaves are too short to reach the surface yet, so I've set it on the top shelf, and once the leaves reach the surface I'll move it down into the deeper part of the pond. The flower bed is finally starting to take shape, with the Gladioli bulbs starting to make an appearance, and a big Easter lily changing from this to this in just a few weeks. This thread algae is really good because it outcompetes the green water algae that makes the water look dirty and is also easy to remove. One thing I've noticed with the pond is that with all the rainwater going into it, it's lowering the hardness of the water quite a lot, which is bad because the fish that I want to put in need quite hard water. This is limestone, and I'm going to smash it up and put it in the pond because it slowly dissolves and raises the hardness of the water. After just a few weeks, it has a layer of algae over it and it looks very natural. The plants in the flower bed are also doing really well, especially the gladioli, although they still haven't flowered. They actually look very similar to the water irises in front of them. The Alpine plants here in the front part of the flower bed are also doing really good, and I love the colours that they have. This plant is called baby's tears, and it's one of my favourite plants in the flower bed because it carpets along the floor and also grows over the lip of the pond a wee bit, so it'll make it look more natural once it completely covers it. So there you have it. In 3 months the pond went from this to this. And now it's ready for fish. The fish I'm going to be putting into the pond are Japanese rice fish that I have here inside my aquarium. They're still too small to go out, so I'm going to keep them inside until they reach adult size and start breeding. I have a video on my channel showing how I hatched and raised these rice fish, and my last video where I set up the no filter fish bowl also featured them if you want to check that out.